Welcome to PTE Lectures by Sureway English. Today we are going to look at Summarize Spoken Text questions. The idea of these PTE lectures is to walk you through each and every step that you need to follow to get a high score in PTE Academic. So in this particular video, we are going to attempt a question together. We'll work as if we are sitting next to each other solving this particular question. While doing that, we'll understand how we arrived at the solution, we'll discuss in detail, and we'll learn a high scoring method that then you can use in your PTE academic exam. So the idea is to create a classroom-like a situation where we together solve these problems, and then you go on and try other practice questions to get more practice. The links to video transcript and other resources such as more practice videos you can find in video description, so make sure to check that. A few basics before we start. You know that in PTE Summarize Spoken Text you will hear a 60 to 90 seconds long audio, and then you will have 10 minutes to write a summary. Your summary should contain between 50 and 70 words. Yep, that's the basics. There is a summarize text question in writing as well. In that question, you are supposed to write one long sentence, but in this case, you can write more than one sentences, provided it is within the word limit. So just keep that in mind. Don't confuse with the other summary question and try to just make one sentence. The steps that we are going to follow: first of all, listen to understand. Don't just listen to capture the keywords or because I come across a large number of students and they have read somewhere on the internet or they've been told by someone to just catch some words, and then they struggle how to put those words together in a response. Don't do that. Instead, have some confidence on yourself and listen with the intent of understanding. Okay, if you do that, then obviously automatically you will also pick up some words that you can use. Take some notes. By that I don't mean that you have to write whole sentences, but just some small notes. Maybe write down the dates, the words which you think are important, draw arrows between the words to show that they are related. So that way, take some notes, pick the key points. Once you've done that, you should be able to identify, you should be able to tell what the key points are, and then join the key points to form a summary. But make sure to leave some time in the end for a review, because the very first time that you write, your summary might not be perfect. There will be spelling mistakes, there might be some grammatical errors, or it might be above the word limit, or you could have missed some key points. So leave some time in the end for a review so that you can go back and improve your summary. Now let's start. The first step is listen with the intent of understanding and take some notes. Alright, now without wasting any more time, let's go ahead straight. Now let's go ahead and listen to the audio. Here we are.
Small asteroids burn up in the Earth's atmosphere, and they give a wonderful fireball like this. They often also break up, and people near the front will be able to see that there are some blobs, because this has already begun to break up. And maybe nothing from that will land on Earth. Maybe it will all burn up. Or maybe something the size of your fist will land on the Earth. And it could go through the roof of your car, which is not good for the car. Or it could go through the roof of your house, which is not good for the house. But it's not going to kill hundreds of people or wipe out life on Earth. These are a couple of images of the one that came in over Siberia in the middle of February. This bottom one isn't such a good photo, but I've included it because you can see it's beginning to break up into bits. Turns out that this asteroid had had a collision with another one, and so was already quite stressed at the point it came into the Earth's atmosphere. As it comes into the atmosphere, it gets very hot and it starts burning, which releases gas, and the gas can make the thing explode. And that's what happened in this case.
Alright, so that was your audio, and now you can pause the video and take 10 minutes to write down your summary. The discussion and explanation will immediately follow. Or if you don't want to pause the video right now and you want to immediately have a look at the solution and the discussion, then just keep watching the video. So, what was the audio about? If you have listened to it with the intent of understanding, as I said, and have taken some notes, then you know that the video is about asteroids and what happens when they enter Earth's atmosphere. The speaker, the lecturer, she focuses a lot on the fact, she's trying to explain that they usually are not able to do much damage to Earth. And then the lecture, it contains the example of an asteroid which landed on Earth somewhere. If you have been able to also pick up these things, then that means you have been able to understand it properly, and your notes, they are good enough. What were the key points then? This is actually the whole transcript, and what I've done is I've highlighted the key points in red. If you want to download the transcript later on for a detailed study, there's a link in the video description. The key points were that the asteroids, they burn up in the Earth's atmosphere and they usually break up. So most of the times nothing will enter the Earth, and sometimes something very small might enter, but it's not going to kill hundreds of people. It won't do a lot of damage. And then there was the example of the one that came in over Siberia. It was beginning to break up as it entered, and then as it enters the atmosphere, gets very hot, starts to burn, releases gas, and the gas makes the asteroid explode. So those were the key points. Now in your notes, you maybe have noted down asteroid, that's one word, breakup, that's another word. Then, not much damage, you've written. And then you've written Siberia, and then, getting hot, burn, and explode. Those are the words that you picked up. Whenever you're taking notes, don't try to write the whole sentences. Okay, just some words, just enough information that later on when you look at it, it can help you remember, it can help you understand what the whole spoken audio was about. Now, these were the key points. So what we do, we take all these key points one after another, and you just write them like that, and then you join them together in the form of a summary. So what you do, from the first key point, what you get, that asteroids usually burn up or disintegrate as they enter into Earth's atmosphere. So you would have noticed that we don't always say break up, which they have used in the lecture. Instead of that breaking up, we have used the word disintegrate, which means the same. But doing this using synonyms, using proper vocabulary, it helps you get a better score. And then the second point, that due to this, because they either disintegrate or burn up, the damage they can do to Earth is very limited. The asteroid that fell in Siberia is a good example of this. The asteroid in Siberia was already beginning to fall apart due to collision with another asteroid. As it entered the atmosphere, its temperature increased. This led to the release of gas, which resulted in an explosion of the asteroid. So after the first attempt, maybe in the first 5 or 6 minutes, this is what you will have. We haven't mentioned kill hundreds of people. Okay, that's an example, but it wasn't important because they also said that kill hundreds of people or wipe the Earth. Instead of that, we've just summarized it by saying that the damage the asteroids they can do to Earth is very limited. Always leave some time in the end for a review so that you can pick on any missing key points, you can pick on any grammatical or spelling mistakes, or if you have gone above the word limit or below the word limit. So to fix all those errors, make sure you leave some time in the end for a review. Now this is the summary that we had. Now I'll try to review it. Now when I'm reviewing it, the first thing that I notice is that it's above the word limit. It's almost 77, 78 words, I think. I want to make it a bit briefer. The other thing I noticed is a grammatical mistake. It's so the way I've written it with apostrophe, it actually means it is. But what I want to say is that it's that belonging to the atmosphere. So it should be without an apostrophe. So in the second iteration on review, this is how I write my summary. Asteroids usually burn up or disintegrate as they enter into Earth's atmosphere, and thus the damage they can do to Earth is very limited. So combine the first two sentences. Then after that, the asteroid that fell in Siberia is a good example of this. So instead of that whole sentence, what I did, for example, the asteroid in Siberia was already beginning to fall apart due to collision with another asteroid. So again, I made it shorter, and then I said as it entered the atmosphere, its temperature, so I corrected my grammatical mistake, its temperature increased, which in turn released gas, which led to its explosive breakup. So again, I also combined the last two sentences. So now I know that I have a summary which is of the right word limit. I've made sure that there are no grammatical mistakes. I had started with the key points, so I already know that the key points are all captured. So this is an example of a good summary. Okay, how well did we do? These are the points on which after you've written, just check yourself. Content, have I covered all the key points? Yes, we covered all the key points. Form, was the summary between 50 and 70 words? Yes, it was. Grammar, no mistakes, we fixed it. The one mistake that we noticed, vocabulary, yes, we used it as well as we could. We used a synonym when it was possible. We used disintegrate, we used fell apart instead of break up everywhere. And then spelling, we didn't notice any mistake. So that means we have done a good summary. Always keep these points in your mind that this is what, in the last 4 minutes or last 3 minutes, whatever you have left for review, this is what you are going to check against. Finally, before we wrap up, points to remember: always listen with the intent of understanding, take notes, and understand the relationships between words. Don't write full sentences, rather just some important words, join them together, draw arrows, circles, underlines, just enough that when later on you're looking at it, it should trigger in your mind what that point was about. Use the 10 minutes efficiently. By that I mean leave some time in the end for a review, join the key points properly, and then join them in an even better way. As you have seen that when we reviewed the summary, we improved it, right? So you can do that as well. You should do that as well. Look out for the mistakes, combine longer sentences, make it better. The last point, for more practice, check out the video description. You will also find the transcript for this question in the video description. With that, we come to the end of this PTE lecture. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get a notification when we release the new video tomorrow. All the best, keep practicing, keep learning, and I hope you do very well on your PTE academic exam.